welcome to a new episode of Oh, She's Funny. I'm your host, LP. Today we have a really fun episode planned. I adore my guests so much. We met on an improv team where I definitely was like, oh, she's funny all the time. Marisa Pinson is a TV writer, a podcaster, co-host of the show On Brand with John and Marissa. Please welcome my buddy, Marisa Pinson.
Oh, yay. Thank you. I'm so
Oh,
happy to be here.
yay. I truly am so grateful you're here. I adore you so much. And if this is how I get to hang out with you, then everyone gets to hear it.
I love it. Yes. If anybody wants to hang out with me, you could hang out with me. You can book me for a Zoom.
Yeah, call her direct. That's what I
That's
did.
right. That's right. I love it. Well, thank you so much for having me. I love your show and I love the topic. Funny gals, like us, a couple of funny
Funny
gals.
gals like us, exactly. I have a little bit of showbiz to get to, which is this is my first piece of like podcast information to discuss before getting into an episode. So are you ready for this breaking news
I'm ready. I love it.
about the pod?
Great.
There's a listener in Mexico or listeners. It's international. We've gone
Wow.
international.
This is huge.
People are listening outside the country. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. It could be perhaps someone on the crew from Desperados, which is a movie I shot in Mexico. Shout out to the crew from Desperados, but it could
Yay.
be someone who just loves comedy and found the pod. So I was super psyched when I was looking at numbers and all that information to
That's so
see
cool.
it's
Hola
spreading.
to the fan down
Oh,
under that I call Mexico down under.
oh, that's weird. Other people call that Australia down under, but you
Never
do
heard
it
of
for
it.
Mexico?
Never
You've
heard of
never
that.
heard of Australia?
Nope, never heard of
Oh, it's one of the are there seven continents? I just freaked myself out.
it.
They change that shit sometimes, they change the number of planets.
They do. What's the point of even learning this in elementary school?
What's the
If
point of
sometime
it?
in your 30s they tell
You're
you, hey,
gonna
all that stuff we taught you, it wasn't true. It wasn't real.
That truly happened to us, right?
It did. It did.
A
It really
lot
did.
of what we learned.
I worked really hard to memorize those planets. And now you're pulling
And
the rug out
now,
from under me. I feel like a fool.
yeah.
I still acknowledge Pluto, though. There's some books about space that I'll read my children, and they won't acknowledge Pluto. And because they can't read, I'll just add Pluto in.
You guys should know. Who cares? I was going to say, what do they call Pluto now? But I don't know the answer. Do you know the answer?
It's not relevant to me. It's Pluto. It will always be Pluto.
Yeah, it's a planet. Let's get over it.
This is my ranting old person.
Yeah.
I can't change it sometimes.
Well, you and I know each other from improv.
Hmm.
We were on a glorious Herald team at UCB called Flap Jackson.
Legendary.
Shouts to the Flaps and the Flappers.
That's right.
And now you are writing for TV, you're doing your own podcast. How do we get from little Marissa to where we are today? Did you know that you wanted to do entertainment stuff when you were younger? What were we thinking?
Well, you know what? I was raised in a very TV friendly household. So
That's a nice way to put it.
there were no rules or restrictions around television. In fact, my family would keep all of the televisions in the house on at the same time, 24 hours a day. So when everybody went to bed, the living room TV would stay on for the animals. If
For
we
the
left the
animal.
house, the TV would stay on for the animals. Everybody fell asleep to the blaring infomercial Nick at Night. It was wild. It was the Wild West, lawless.
Wow. I kind of relate to this though. I was in a
Really?
big TV household. There wasn't a lot of restrictions on it, and I watched TV a lot, and that's how I parent now. I'm a screen-friendly family.
So I even had, did you have a TV in your bedroom? Because I had a little TV in
That
my
was like a
bedroom in elementary
dream. A
school.
TV in your bedroom. Oh, how luxurious.
It was very luxurious and really probably bad for my sleep health, my sleep hygiene, because in like early elementary school, I'm talking like third, fourth, fifth grade, I would be up until 3 a.m. watching Mary Tyler Moore, Taxi, Laverne and Shirley. So these
Oh,
were my teachers. I would be sleeping through school with the actual teachers, and then these were my teachers come nighttime.
and I really don't disagree with this schooling of Mary Tyler Moore and Laverne and Shirley, as
It's
opposed to all the stuff that changed that you didn't need to learn anyway.
exactly that holds up. That holds up. It was kind of a maybe falling asleep to the sounds of Nick and Night was like a it hypnotized me in my sleep to want to be a TV writer. But at that time, there wasn't really, I feel like now, if kids are growing up, they know who show creators are and they know who like TV writers are. And I didn't know who wrote Laverne and Shirley or Mary Tyler Moore. I knew the actors in the show. But now I feel like Mindy Kaling and Tina Fey, I feel like people kind of have an idea that there are people behind the scenes that actually write the show. So my thought when I moved out to LA, I graduated high school and I started taking improv classes at the Groundlings, like when I was like 17
Oh, no
after
kidding.
graduating high school.
Good for you.
My family, as you can kind of guess, we weren't really like college people. So based on
We're TV
the
people.
heavy hand of TV in my rearing. So I told my mom, I said, I want to move to Hollywood and I want to become a professional improviser. And, she, bless her heart, she said, okay, great. We support you, whatever you want to do. Don't know what that is, but sounds fun.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah, I never saw a dime from my improv performances. Still don't. So yeah, I moved to LA and I started at the Groundlings and then I moved over to UCB. And that was kind of always in the back of my mind, thinking like these shows I love, I grew up watching. I maybe I want to be an actress, but I didn't want to be an actress. I actually wanted to be a TV writer. So once that kind of became on my radar that was actually like a path I could go down instead of like horrible commercial auditions, humiliating, beyond humiliating, so nervous
Oh,
every time.
yeah.
For some reason, did you ever audition for commercials? For some reason, we could do improv, but like you get on the spot and you have to like talk about your wheat thins, and I would just like be sweating, freezing up.
It's not easy to improvise about wheat thins.
It's not. It's not.
No,
Yeah,
a
so
lot
that
of the
was
stuff the commercial
terrible.
people ask you to do is really ridiculous and humiliating and makes you self-conscious in the moment.
Yeah, so that was when I was kind of like, well, if I can't even do an audition for wheat thins without like bursting into tears and sweating and breaking out in hives, maybe I don't want to be an actress. So the couple kind of fortuitous things happened. Like I had a blog in back in the day in the mid 2000s, 10s, 2000, gosh, what was it? I think like 2007 when they were giving people with blogs book deals. And so a
Oh,
friend of mine who I met at UCB, Dave Horowitz, we had a comedy blog. This was like pre-Twitter, pre-Instagram kind of taking off. So it was like if you wanted to make some money for comedy, you had to write a book. You had to write a blog that would become so popular that people would pay you to write a book, which feels very antiquated and old-timey now, but that's how it used to be. So
I
we
mean,
wrote,
that's still what's happening, just on a different platform.
it feels like people are just writing for free now, like on,
Well,
on
yeah,
Twitter
there's
and
that.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't Substack. I don't know. I'm not up to date on all the new things, but
Sounds like you are. You just threw out Substack.
well, there you go. I know one term. I know one website.
Yeah, I think
Pets.com, that's still around.
yeah, definitely.
So we wrote a book called Deal Breaker, the definitive list of dating offenses. And this was when God, I think I was like 20 years old, like literally maybe 20, and getting like all this stuff happening and thinking that this is just like how Hollywood works. You don't go to college, you move to LA, you do improv at a theater for free, and then you start a blog, and then you get to write a book. And that kind of started to open up a few doors, TV wise, writing wise. Concurrently, I had gotten this is like the most kind of silly way if somebody asks you advice of how to like get into a writer's room for the first time, because occasionally people will reach out to me and they'll say like, do you have any advice for somebody who's looking to get started in a writer's room? This is
Hmm.
how I got in my first writer's room. Somebody offered me an email. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Somebody offered me an email. Somebody wrote me an email
Hmm.
saying, we're doing a pilot for Nick Kroll's new sketch show on Comedy Central. Would you like to work on it as a writer's assistant?
Whoa.
Me have never been a writer's assistant before. Me don't know what that job is.
Yeah.
Me not qualified. But me show up on the first day.
Yeah.
Little did I know there was a huddle that took place without me in the room saying, "Oh no, we hired the wrong Marisa." They
Oh.
they meant to offer the job to a different Marisa in the UCB community who was
Oh,
more qualified, had been a writer's assistant before, had lots of
no.
experience, that Nick Kroll had heard from one of the other writers on the show. Oh, she's great. She's wonderful. She's very qualified. Let's
This
bring her
is,
on.
I'm
Somehow
dying.
autofill. I don't know how this happened, but I got offered the job and they felt so bad that they let me stay and did not tell me until the wrap party that that's how I got the job. So I was the world's worst writer's assistant. Like I would just like I didn't have final draft. I like had to like get final draft like on like day 9. I was like, I think I need like a new like a program for this. They would start talking and I would just like open like a blank like Word document and like and untitled. Every document was untitled. And I would just like start like kind of like writing down what people are saying. And then they would say, like, what was that thing we said last week? And I was like, my desktop was just a sea of untitled documents.
Oh
So I would
my
just like be
God.
searching, like, oh, let me find it. But I was also kind of, not like pitching in like an annoying way or like, getting a little too involved. But like they would say, like, oh, well, what could this be? And then maybe it would be quiet for a little while. And then I might like pipe up with something. And then people would laugh and it's like, oh, that's good. Maybe we should put that in. It was like, oh, okay, that's kind of fun. I think I like that.
Right.
So
Oh
we
my
worked on the
God.
we worked on the pilot for I think 3 months. And so during that time, I was working with some incredibly talented writers, Jonathan Kreisel, Nick Kroll, Chelsea Peretti, John Levinstein, this is like these are the cream of the crop. And this was who I was kind of like spending every day with for 3 months. And I shouldn't have been there. But it was my first experience on like what a writer's room feels like. And so that was when I realized that was what I wanted to put my energy into. I told the commercial agent, I'm sorry, you're going to be losing a lot of money, but I am backing away from the acting career.
The cash flow from Marisa
The
stops
constant
here.
cash flow. Yeah. I think I got one commercial in my like 4 years of auditioning for a fishing rod, and I think it was internet only. So maybe you can find that on YouTube if you're really a stealth
Yeah.
YouTuber.
Everybody check it out. Wow,
Yeah.
that's what a incredible story, and how what nice guys they are, like Nick and everybody.
Hmm.
That they were like, I guess we'll just give her a shot. And then like just I can't imagine finding that out. Like I wasn't supposed to be here.
Isn't that crazy? It was at the wrap party and John Kreisel, he did like Portlandia. He
Yeah.
said, I had wondered the whole time. I was like, why am I here? Why am I here? And I just kind of let it go. And then we were at a bar celebrating the finishing the pilot. And he said, I can't believe you got this job by accident. And I'm like, okay, wait, you have to tell me because I don't know why I have this job. And that was when I heard the full story. So it's possible I never would have known
Right. I
if
kind of
if
love
we
that
weren't in
you
that
did
right
find
moment.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And then you made great friends, and everyone goes on to help each other. It's beautiful.
It is. It's really nice. Yeah. So I did fortunately like get to work with those folks and get again like, just over the years it would pop up that like there would be an opportunity. And that's kind of how, yeah, that's how this business works. Is I feel like 90% of being asked back to a job or getting hired kind of in the first place is like being normal and like,
Hmm.
not like weird or like strange. I mean, there's a fun way to be weird and then there's like a weird way to be weird where like you're making
Yeah.
everybody a little uncomfortable. So I always kind of prided myself on being like a pretty easy hang, pretty easy to
You're a
eat
great
lunch with.
hang.
And
Yep.
I feel like a big part of when they're hiring people in a writer's room is like, who is like pretty chill to like eat lunch with? And I was like, well,
Yeah.
I feel like I could do that. I got into watching Real Housewives because that's what people would talk about at lunch. So I'm like, I feel like I can kind of like, I can do this job. I can do the job of eating lunch with other comedians. And then
And
the writing,
talking.
I'm sure, will take care of itself.
Oh, that's really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but the improv training it helps tremendously. And I feel like that was kind of like a superpower is not being too precious with writing, being able just to like think on your feet, throw stuff out, not toiling away for like hours before you had the perfect joke. It's like you say something, if it's not funny, you don't get your feelings hurt, you just move on.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've had a very nice career. I was a writer, yeah, on Angie Tribeca for 4 years and worked my way up to being a co-executive producer on that show in the fourth and final season. And that was like the best job ever. And then I had a couple kids. And then in that time, wrote a movie kind of trying to make stuff happen. But yeah, it's really nice work if you can get it being a TV writer.
For sure. I agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. It's all nice work if you can get it. And now you're
Yeah.
a podcaster as well.
Yes, yes. The podcasting lifestyle is really folds nicely into my routine. I like it. I like that I don't have to leave my house.
Do you
I
guys
like
do
I
it at
can
your
be
house?
cozy. We do record at our dining room table. So John, my co-host, comes to me, and our podcast is about brands, something we both love. So we
It's
get
a
to
great podcast. It's very
thank
well
you.
researched. It's a fun discussion about brands that you know and love or don't love.
Yeah, and so John, my co-host, is an Emmy award-winning researcher. So he brings a lot to the table. He like goes on this website, the Wayback Machine. Do you know this? So it's like an archive of every website that's ever existed. And like he'll like go on these like deep dives. Like we did an episode about the Cabbage Patch Kids, and he was on the Wayback Machine and found like deep in like archival message boards, whatever, cabbagepatch.com, where a woman is like talking about how she met her husband over like a mutual love of Cabbage Patch dolls. It's wild. So we have a really great time. And I feel like podcasting is kind of like it's it's the improv skill of just like liking to chat and joke around,
Hmm.
but without like the kind of icky acting side of it where you have to like try to pretend to be somebody else. Because I can't do that, but I can chat and be me and joke around. So I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I'm a big fan.
Thank
I
you.
love your podcast.
Thank you.
And I'm so excited you're here. We are here to talk about someone very fun that you have chosen. Do you want to reveal your inspiring comedian?
Yes, so this was an early influence. Films, her work planted the seed in my mind to not only pursue improv, but to kind of I don't know, see like the options, the ways that women could be funny in a way that felt like really true and really resonated with me. So today I chose Jennifer Coolidge,
Amazing, incredible, national treasure.
a national treasure. So the movie, Christopher Guest movies in general, and the movie Best in Show was really influential in my family. So there weren't a lot of things. We watched a lot of like The Simpsons together, and of course like the TGIF lineup. But like to find like
Of course.
a comedy that like we're all like dying laughing watching, Best in Show was it. And we would quote it constantly. Like my mom and dad would like quote Best in Show constantly.
That's really cute because not everyone gets that movie, you know. I love that movie. It's so funny and I can quote it as well, but sometimes people are like, "What?"
And I feel like it was maybe a little before its time. I feel like now we're all, sorry, a little water break.
It's okay. We'll cut this.
Now we're all really calibrated to like mockumentary style, but I feel like at the time, maybe people weren't really dialed into that. So it might have been a little confusing, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
what
like,
is
what is
this?
this format? What am I watching? Are these real people?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And the a majority of the movie, the dialogue was improvised. And so I remember learning that and being like, oh my God, wow, that is like number one, it's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it's everybody's just like playing on the spot and like making each other laugh. And like, I don't know, it really just inspired me. And I love that movie. I love all the Christopher Guest movies. And Jennifer Coolidge in particular, she's this archetype of comedian that I was really, because I was compiling a list of like comedians that I just like have loved for years.
Hmm.
And there's these kind of archetypes that keep popping up. Like it was like Goldie Hawn, Amy Sedaris, Fran Drescher. And I'm like, okay, these women are kind of like they're glamorous. Jennifer Coolidge, very glamorous, but there's like a sloppiness to it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like Miss Piggy. It's like they're like gorgeous and over the top feminine, but there's a bit crusty, you know? You know what I
Yeah, the
mean?
flaws are visible.
Yes. And I don't know why that like archetype, I think maybe coming like from the 70s, like 70s, 80s TV shows where it was like a lot of female comedians. I didn't watch a ton of stand-up, but when I think about like Paula Poundstone or something like that,
Yes.
where it's like to appeal to a broad audience, it kind of felt like maybe you had to be one of the boys. You had to kind of like play down your femininity to kind of like
Hmm.
appeal to a mass audience. And so I really loved seeing these female actresses, female comedians, like use their femininity to play into the comedy. The comedy plays into the femininity, and it just like it's not at odds with itself, and it's for everybody. I really just love that.
She's so good, and she's so good at being like the ditzy blonde that you have to be so smart to play that well. You,
Absolutely.
it's really hard to play that well, and she kills it. And her choices are always so interesting and unexpected.
Absolutely. Like her line reads, her style, like White Lotus. I was obviously I love that show. Everybody loved it. Her styles of delivery, and that's obviously a show that's not improvised, so it speaks to her skill also as an actress. Choices are so unique and just like, I don't know, she's just such a special performer. And I was so thrilled to see her getting the recognition that she deserves
Hmm.
because I mean, Best in Show was a movie that was like stacked with so much talent. Like, Catherine O'Hara obviously has had an amazing career.
Oh,
Parker Posey, they're just brilliant. I mean, it's hard to choose like a single like comedian to like worship from that movie, but Jennifer Coolidge winning an Emmy at like 60, whatever, for a role where it's like people are just now discovering her, I feel like, who maybe kind of missed the boat originally.
Yeah, and
I'm
she's been
so happy for her.
consistently working.
Yeah.
She's been on every sitcom, like guest starring in everything possible. But yeah, now finally, like on the cover of magazines, winning awards, people finally recognizing that. Yeah, I mean, but just working her ass off for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's definitely like done the little guest parts and the bit roles and stuff to kind of like you feel her hustle. And so to see her like have her moment and be like so celebrated now for like this the role in White Lotus, I love that for her. I'm so happy to see everybody. And I hope people go back and watch her previous work. And if they're like, where did this lady come from? It's like, let me tell you where she came from.
I will tell you.
She's even
First,
great in American Pie. I mean, like
well, I was gonna say, yeah, like
yeah.
that's when I first remember her as Stifler's mom, and she was so funny, and obviously it was like a very sex symbol role, but so funny to me. Like
Oh, for sure. So nuanced. It's like she's in on the joke. It never feels like exploitative or she's being objectified because she is so in control of her performance.
exactly, yeah, she's fully in
Oh,
control.
I just love it. Yeah. I mean, I love Miss Piggy. I think it's just like the same character. It's like a gorgeous, glamorous woman who can like fly off the handle at a moment's notice. I don't know why. It's like a like drag
Right,
queens. You know what I mean? It's like heightened. It's
right.
everything's heightened. The femininity is heightened. The like
The
emotions are
strength,
heightened. The
yeah,
strength. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love
Her
it.
her very first role was in Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. And then she said
Wow.
doors opened up for her after that, and that was in 1993. And then she was Stifler's mom in American Pie in 99, and Best in Show was in 2000.
So even you think of that 1993 Seinfeld to 1999. I mean, that's like, I feel like when people look at like actors' IMDb's, you see that there's like years between work, but you can't imagine like feeling, oh, that is actually like 4 years where someone's not working. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think there was stuff on there in between. I'm not
But
reading
it's
the whole
like,
thing, but
it's like it's hard to like make a living as like as a comedian, as a bit part comedian actor like that. And so
yeah.
yeah, so American Pie, yeah, that put her on the map. I remember reading a quote from her or saw her in an interview that she said she had a sex with a lot of people from playing Stifler's mom.
I think I saw that too.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Good for her.
Good for her, right? You see that and you're
Fuck
like,
yeah.
good for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Maximize on whatever you want out of that experience.
I love that.
Yeah, and now so if Best in Show was in 2000, we're 24 years later
Mhm.
getting the awards and accolades that she deserves.
Yeah, and Mike White has like is on the record saying just how he's loved her for years and years. And this was like, I mean, what a gift for him to have her in his show, but also like if you I mean, you as a director, if there's somebody you love, it's like you can put them back in the spotlight. Like what a gift that is, like to be able to like
Oh, nice. Yeah,
show
what a kid.
everybody Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, Mike White must feel great about that. Do you know
Yeah.
that they're super close friends and they went to Africa together? Because Mike was supposed to go on a trip with his husband. Maybe the husband got sick or something and they had to go. So he invited Jennifer Coolidge. And it was like a very romantic trip where they had to like sleep next to each other in tents and
Oh
stuff.
my
And she said that he saw a different side of her.
God.
And she's like, I don't know if he would have written that part for me if we hadn't gone to Africa together.
Oh my God, I want to see that side. I want to see all sides of her. She can do
Yeah,
no wrong.
I'm interested in all sides. I love all
Oh,
sides.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, she was also a groundling. Many incredible actors, Marisa Pinson included, started at the
Yes,
Groundlings.
I'm sure that was a factor. Yeah, when I was picking what improv school to go to.
Mhm.
Definitely her poster in the lobby.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
She was probably great. A Jennifer Coolidge character
Oh my God.
showcase. Would
I
love to see it
would love to see. That might be floating around in a VHS tape somewhere in a storage unit in
for
Hollywood.
sure. Yeah, there's definitely some old auditions that we could find. I have a quote from her about wanting to be a dramatic actress. She said, I wanted to be a straightforward actress. I became obsessed with Meryl Streep in college, and I wanted to be a dramatic actress my whole life. I was very serious about that, and it went a different route. No one in my family thought I was funny. They thought I was weird. I was really good at sort of imitating people. I wasn't a very smart kid. I never said anything smart at the dinner table, but when someone left, like if we had a guest over for dinner and they left, I could do that person really well and I could say all the stupid things they said.
The same thing happened to me when I told my family that I was like going to be working in comedy. They were like, "Really? Like, are you funny? Like, I feel like we haven't really seen
Wow. Thanks, everybody. But I mean,
that."
also, maybe they weren't reading your writing.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. I wasn't maybe cracking the best material at the dinner table, just trying to get through it. It's hard to be a teenager. You're not auditioning for your parents at 6 p.m.
No, especially not as a teenager. Were you funny with your
No.
friends?
Yes, and so this is my proof that I was funny is that I
She
was
has
voted class
proof.
voted class clown, and I do need to find the yearbook because part of me almost started to panic last night. I've told probably 600 people that I won class clown in seventh and eighth grade in middle school, and I know it's in the
Two
yearbook, and I
years in a row.
2 years in a row, and I started to panic that I made it up, that I like, if you just think about, especially as a teenager, you obsess over a thought over and over and over again, and then it kind of becomes like
Yeah,
true.
you believe the lie. Yeah,
I'm
okay.
really worried that I've told 600 people this and it's not true at all. So
So we
I
need
need to
these
find the yearbook.
records.
Yeah, it's in the garage. I'll have to dig around and find it. But I was voted class clown. I'll say on the record I was voted clown in middle school, and I'll issue a retraction if this is not true. And in high school, I was voted most likely to be on Saturday Night Live. So the people have spoken. They want more of me,
Okay,
and
so
I will
yeah, just
deliver. Yes.
just because it wasn't happening at the dinner table, it might have been happening in the cafeteria.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was quick. If I did get a scolding from a teacher, it was for, cracking a joke. And I would pay attention, but to find the right time, I'm not joking around with my friends, but if the teacher does something, says something and I have a smart remark, I'm going to say it at full volume to the rest of the class. Because,
Right.
we
Okay.
have to kind
Oh,
of keep it light, keep it fun. Yeah, that was
right.
that was me in the classroom.
And then you get a little laugh from the audience,
There
feels
you go.
good,
Feels
encourages you to
really
do it some
good.
more.
Yeah, feels real good.
I think I was voted, I don't know if it was class clown or like whatever, some similar type of title
Mhm.
like that was. And I remember like wanting to win it. And like one of these like boys in my class was like, what do you want to win it? What do you think you're funny? And I was just like, you suck, bro.
I do remember resenting, even like in elementary school, like third, fourth grade, the boys that I would see getting a lot of like laughs and attention at school. And I was like, they're not funny. Like
Yeah.
they were doing a lot of like Raptor. Do you remember the Raptor, like Ace Ventura? It was a lot of Ace Ventura, a lot of like impressions of like, I don't know, over the top, not my type of material, but
Are you
I was
saying you
trying
didn't
to
like Ace Ventura?
I did love Ace Ventura, but I didn't like Tyler's rendition. Tyler's like
Right.
line for line verbatim
Yeah,
quoting of Ace Ventura. I feel like that
that's
was
a
kind
lot.
of a crutch that like the 7-year-old boys used to be class clown was just quoting Ace Ventura, and I found that lazy, and I
It's
didn't respect
unoriginal.
it.
You're just plagiarizing someone else. That's not your own comedy.
Absolutely.
What's your
And then
brand of comedy, little
everybody would
Chad?
would crack up at this kid. I'm like, don't they know that that's like not
Some,
his work?
yeah, it's Jim
Rude.
Carrey's, everybody.
Which makes everybody really like you when you're the kid doing that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I,
so
I
I
also
get
got
that.
voted biggest slacker in high school,
Really?
which was like a joke that my English class thought would be funny. So they were like, let's put Lauren as biggest slacker. And I was like, what? And then like everyone in the class did, but the whole rest of the school voted for our valedictorian to get biggest slacker
This is like
as,
as a joke?
as a joke, because I guess
Uh-huh.
she was like kind of nerdy and people didn't like her. And so it's like kind of a mean thing to vote it for
Wow.
her. And so she didn't accept it. She said, no, I don't want it. So then I got second place because my English class voted for
Oh
me.
my God.
And I was like, I'll take it.
She's like, I don't want this going on my record. I'm not going to
She did
self-identify as a
not.
slacker.
Yeah.
Well, certainly a valedictorian does not want to be labeled as a slacker. So with you, was it because you were so not a slacker and it was like that was the joke?
Just someone thought that would be just like a funny, shitty thing to do to me in my class.
This
I don't know.
these
I don't know that they thought I would
superlatives
get it.
superlatives should not be weaponized. This is mean. This
This
is
is
too
mean. This
mean.
is a whole mean thing. Yeah.
And I wonder even if they still do this in yearbooks or if this is like because I feel like we in my middle school yearbooks, we had like biggest flirt.
Ooh,
We had like prettiest smile. I feel like
this
it
is
that we had
scandalous.
best body. I think this is not happening anymore.
Whoa.
I feel like this is very antiquated.
Best body in middle school.
Best body.
I don't, we actually cannot find these yearbooks to
I
prove
think
anything.
it's
We
illegal
shouldn't,
now to
we,
comment on any middle schooler's
yes,
body in any ranking way.
yes. Even, even something that as egregious as that, I think maybe these superlatives in the time of everyone gets a participation trophy might have
Yes.
gone away.
I think probably. I don't think you're supposed to quantify any children's qualities anymore.
No, everyone's great in their own
Everyone's,
unique way.
everyone's bodies are worthy of an award. Everyone's a slacker if you want to be, or if not, you don't have to be.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
you
not,
are, say you are is what you are.
yeah, it's not black and white too. Maybe today you're a slacker, tomorrow you're the
Please.
valedictorian. It's like, we don't know.
That seems really damaging if a kid is really struggling with being a slacker and then they're labeled as a slacker in the school. Everybody votes and says, "We agree you are a
Or
lazy
slacker.
piece of shit.
Yeah,
You're a
what a terrible
slacker."
superlative. Who wants to be that? I was like, sure. And I like,
You must have had some self-confidence in there because I feel like if you could take it, it means, I mean,
yeah, I
clearly
didn't
you're not
care.
a slacker in your
I,
adult life. It
yeah,
hasn't translated.
I had some teachers that were like, what do you mean you're not a slacker? And I was like, I know, it's funny. And they were like, it's not.
I think that was like a teenage thing too, where it's like something being confusing is a joke. Whereas
Hmm.
like when you're writing writing a TV show, you're told like, oh no, that's too it's I feel like I remember learning that like, no, it's funny because it's confusing. And then being told like confusion is the opposite of humor. If people are confused, they can't laugh. Like if you have to take an extra split second to like figure out like, wait, what did they mean? It's already like the humor has
Yeah.
evaporated from the
Yes.
environment. So the idea of like that feels so familiar as a teenager, like just saying like weird random stuff just to try to like be irreverent and like weird. And then like adults looking at you being like, what are you doing? And being like, we're being funny. It's like you're being confusing. These two things do not coexist.
Yeah. I think it was also something about me like being rebellious and like I get good grades, but like I don't care. I'm the
Yeah.
biggest slacker. Like I'm still cool.
Did you get really good grades?
I
Did you get
did.
like straight A's? Wow. Okay. So
Not straights, but I was, A's and B's for sure.
okay, A's and B's. All right. Honey,
Yeah.
I got D's.
D's, honey. Well, you know what? Sometimes it happens.
I could not for the life of me. I had to take algebra 2, trigonometry 3 times.
Ooh.
I feel like if that's
And
one where
why?
you're staring out the window for like 20 seconds and you look back to your teacher and they've moved on to the point where it's irredeemable. You'll never catch up. You're screwed for
Never
the
in
rest
your
of your
in
life.
your entire career. And also it doesn't matter. Like why
No, it
make
truly
this poor
doesn't.
child take this class 3 times in a row?
You remember in geometry where they would talk about like a line that like goes on forever? Do you remember that? Like that's something you had to like learn about in geometry. All of geometry is like shapes that don't exist and lines that go on forever. And I remember like, and that's what you spend like years and years studying. And I
Hmm.
remember like earnestly like raising my hand and being like, what is this line? Like, where is this line? Because no, they're like, okay, you're drawing it, you put a dot and then you draw a line. And so the dot means that part is finite. And then you draw a line with an arrow, and that means that line extends on forever. And me being like literally like desperate, raising my hand.
Forever
Where is
where?
the line? Where
In
is it?
space?
In space?
Near Pluto? Oh my
I've never come
God.
across such a line, and
No,
I
I've
don't think I
never
ever
come
will.
across a lot of these things.
Yeah,
How
it's
old is your child?
I have two. I have a
Children?
almost 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yeah, so
So it
we fortunately aren't dabbling in any line nonsense yet.
it
It's still a lot
it
of
gets
play.
fun when they get there because they also understand that this is nonsense that they shouldn't have to learn.
And then
And
you
you,
have to pretend that it is important.
and yeah, or you're like, I guess I agree with you, but I just need you to like pass the class, man.
Yeah, I know. It's so tough. I graduated high school when it was our graduation day. We were in our like caps and gowns in a classroom waiting to be like unloaded to go like walk and receive our diplomas. And I said, just like out loud, clowning around with some other kids, I was like, I'm graduating high school and I can't do long division. Like I literally don't know how to do it. We learned it in whatever fourth grade. It never stuck. I never took to it. Every time I was tested on it, I failed. And I'm graduating, I still don't know it. And then so like we were in our caps and gowns and somebody was trying to teach me long division on the whiteboard, like right before we walked out. And they were like, okay, go, go, go. And I'm like, I still don't have it. I still don't have it. So now
Graduating.
I'm graduating. So now, with kids, it's like I'm gonna have to, I guess, learn long division. Come on, I'm tired.
No, if you think you're going to be able to learn everything in order to teach them, you're in trouble.
Yeah, screwed
You got
for
to
sure.
outsource this stuff.
Oh, that's what we have
There,
TV for, right?
exactly. You got
The classics, only the
YouTube
classics.
channels full of
Tapes,
teachers. Yeah.
tapes of Laverne and Shirley.
Mary Tyler Moore goes over the line that never ends.
That's right. That's right. It's funny to think about watching so much of those old TV shows. So those were like, so this was mid 90s, and then these shows were from the 70s. So they were like 20 years prior. They
Hmm.
seemed so like there were shows that were like literally like in black and white, like that I was watching as a kid. Andy
Yeah.
Griffith show or I Love Lucy. But then putting on a show now for the kids, like that was from like 1980 or TV, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I don't know. Of course, it feels like it's like 100 years ago to them. But I'm like,
Yeah.
this is good stuff. This
I
holds up.
know. Do they watch it with you, or do they like,
Yeah, I'll try to make some of the classics happen, and maybe they're just I don't know, appeasing me. But I think it's important. This is a master class in timing, in comedy. I'll put on a little All in the Family form. I haven't done that yet, but this is good stuff.
if they don't learn timing early, it's hard to get it later.
Yes, it's like learning a language. You need it at maximum absorption.
Yeah. And if your kids aren't funny, then like it's pretty boring.
I've gotten some good evidence so far that they're going to be pretty funny. Do you feel like your kids are funny?
One of them is. And I don't mean that in an insulting way, but one of them is
Yeah.
funny-ish. One of them's funny-ish, and the other one's a sweet little baby.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
Yeah.
sweet. If you're not funny, you have to be sweet.
Yeah.
You can
So
only be mean. You can only be mean if you're also funny. And if you're not funny, you have to be sweet. Those are the rules.
them's the rules.
You can't be not funny and mean and
Yeah,
not sweet.
then you got nothing going for you.
You got nothing going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like this has been a great conversation, Marissa. Thank
Yes, I
you.
have loved chatting with you.
Thank you for talking about Jennifer Coolidge. Thank you for talking about you. Before we go, I like to recommend something that I think pe might make people say, "Oh, she's funny." So this week I'm recommending, have you seen Jenny Slate's special on Amazon?
No, but I love her. And she actually worked on the Nick Kroll pilot too. So she was somebody else who
That's right.
I was a fraud in front of.
Was she in that writer's room or
She would come in, she wasn't a full time, but she was there and she was in the show.
so funny on that
The
show?
Kroll show is a very funny sketch show. And yeah, I was very happy to be a small part of the pilot.
What's the Liz, the publicist?
Publicity, yeah, publicity.
Publicity. Yeah, she's
Yes,
great in that. She's great on
they're
that
so
show.
good.
Well, she has a special on Amazon called Seasoned Professional, and it's great. And she's so odd and funny and interesting, and I think everyone will love it. So check that out. Marissa, we can find you on your podcast On Brand. Is that the social media handle we want to point people at?
Yes, you can go to instagram.com/ I'm assuming you're going to Instagram on your desktop computer.
I guess so.
Instagram.com/ on brand the pod or at on brand the pod. And you
On
can
Brand the
see
Pod.
clips from the show and links to it there. But it's available, wherever podcasts are. So Apple Podcasts, wherever. On brand with John and Marissa. And we talk about a new brand every week.
It's very good. Check that out. And anyone who wants to help this show, you can follow it on Oh She's Funny podcast. And apparently there's a thing where you can like rate and follow the podcasts on Spotify and Apple, and that's important to get things going and get other people to find out the show. So if you're listening and you want to take a minute, rate, review the podcast, that'd be great. But follow us on Instagram. I've been posting recaps of our conversations, and I'll post some clips of Jennifer Coolidge. And thanks again, Marissa. That's
Thank
it,
you so much for
everybody.
having me. This has
All
been so
right.
fun.
So long, everybody. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.